We made it to a nearby bay one day recently, and I was reflecting on the reality that life on Earth is made up of ever-changing layers of things. On a beach, the layers are a jumble of eroding rock, rotting seaweed, and bits of shell, coming and going, moving and changing with the tides, the weather, the shuffling feet. In a home, the layers are a transforming collage of needs and interests, tools and toys, coming and going, moving and changing with growing people, shifting seasons, new opportunities. Since childhood, I've had the quirky habit of hauling a laundry basket around the house, battling those constantly forming layers to restore the calm. The search for beauty and order has always held a peaceful thrill for me, and recently combined with the instincts of prenatal nesting, I've been ruthlessly practical in purging and organizing our living spaces. Of course, there will always be the peripheral clutter, so my focus right now is just maintaining the core living spaces, filling them with only what we most enjoy, most use, most value, leaving room to breathe and feel cozy as we welcome a new little soul into our home. So one of the organizing tactics that has really stuck with me over the years has been not only accepting the limits of our space, but also creating limits within those spaces to make sure the clutter stays at a cozy level. So for example, these wicker baskets are my limit for clean laundry. Once they're filled up, it's time to fold. And I recently got rid of our big hamper and just have these metal bins someone gave us to hold both linens and dirty clothing in the laundry closet. And another laundry limit I've been working on is to buy mostly cotton material for clothing, bedding, cleaning rags, which is harder to find used, which we do a lot of, and more expensive to buy new, which limits what I bring home. Another trick is to lie folded clothing on its side versus stacking it in a drawer to keep the drawer from getting too cramped. Another limit I enjoy is to let the color splash be the tops in a wardrobe and let the bottoms be neutral or dark colors, and then layers or even bows can be just solid colors, limiting what I can find and bring home to put in our wardrobe. I also do appreciate the one in, one out rule, like limiting all our board games to one shelf in the boys' closet, or limiting all my craft supplies, they have to fit on the shelf in the girls' room. And every kid gets a special drawer or box to keep current memories or crafts in. If it doesn't fit, it gets taken out of the room to sort later or to throw away. And though we love books in this family, I do have a limit for them too, which is this bookshelf where we keep most of them, forcing us to only keep our favorites, donating or passing on the rest. For kitchen or bathroom cupboards or drawers, I like to think about what we use weekly and put that in the front. And then things we use just on occasion, we can tuck to the back. And for things that aren't occasional but are more seasonal, like clothing or sports equipment or Christmas items, those tuck away in bins in the crawl space. And when I'm sorting through things, if I come across an item that I don't use occasionally, I don't even use seasonally, I have to give it a value to decide whether it's worth the storage space to see if I'll use it later. Someone I know sets a monetary limit, so if something is more than, say, $30, they'll keep it and see if they use it later. If it's under $30, then they will decide to give it away. That tactic also works for when you know you want to get rid of something. My husband sets a dollar amount at which he feels it's worth his time to try to sell. If it's under that amount, then we consider consigning it or just donating it. And I do try to be a thoughtful donator, accepting my junk as junk, leaving that out, and just putting the best things in that would probably sell again in the donation box, which I usually keep in the back of my closet or in my car. And sometimes I like to give something a second chance, like these 2 hankies, one from each grandmother, that I'm going to put in my purse and see if I use. Along with creating limits for our things, I also like to think about placement. So everyday coats can go on hooks where we can access them easily. And then in a closet, things we use a lot of, like the coats and the shoes, go in the middle. And then things we don't use as much on the sides, like umbrellas or backpacks. We have one shelf in our front hall closet, so we can use it for things like the diaper bag and the purse in the middle, with things we don't use as much on the sides. I also like to use a crate for seasonal items like snow gear or sandals in summer. And a while ago I decided that socks should be kept close to shoes, so I got this pocket organizer for shoes on the back of the garage door that works great for socks, as well as things like hats or sunshades. And while not very pretty, plastic containers, as long as they're kept away from sunlight, heat, or destructive little hands, can make for very visible storage in closets or in cupboards, and can really last for a very long time. I also like to save jars to make sense of little things in drawers, like these salsa jars to store things like rubber bands or hair bands or sticky notes in our junk drawer. Pasta jars work great for all our snacks, and these jars make my spices very accessible now. Free wine boxes from the liquor store also work great for closet storage or under the bed, a good size for books and other things that are heavy. So creating limits for the items we use in our core spaces and then finding logical placement for them are both important, along with some aesthetics to make what we have to store pleasing to the eye. So I like wicker baskets, sometimes alternating them with items on a shelf, or just putting baskets around the house of things that otherwise would be on the floor. This used IKEA desk is great for vertical storage of all our electronics and our DVDs. It's just nice to be able to tuck those things away sometimes. I splurged on getting these nice cotton bags to put things like beads or magnets or dominoes in. They pack in nicely to one basket, which is sitting in this chest, which is also our piano bench. Trays can also be a pretty way to store things, like this one for unclaimed artwork that we review every couple months to see if it's still wanted. And clipboards are great for school days to hold all our paper, keep it from lying around. And my sister thought of dollar store baking trays to hold crafts in progress. I use this lovely wooden tray for my brother to frame all the random things that get tossed on the kitchen counter. And instead of having plastic bags of fruit on the counter, I like to toss them in a basket or a bowl. And I love keeping things from nature that are given to me or that I find, but it makes it easier to clean and get around if I have them in a bowl or a basket. So there we are. I've been recently embracing the lifestyle of Lagom, meaning just enough, coined by my Swedish ancestors. I am learning how to keep just enough pieces to fit comfortably into my current season, all the while remembering it's a never-ending puzzle in progress. All the spaces I've captured here will soon be jammed again with new layers of toys and tools to sort through and rearrange in a new way. Our small home fills up fast and can feel like a weary job to always be rearranging its bits and pieces. But I love the reminder in my favorite psalm, Psalm 16, the boundary lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. What I choose to put in or take out of the boundary lines of our life doesn't bring contentment, it reflects it. I feel like every day is a fresh chance to build not only method to manage life's shifting layers, but heart to accept them, taking a moment here and there to breathe a sigh of cozy content in our little haven.